understand that predicting the weather is about the toughest thing in broadcasting to do. In a past life, I was a news anchor. We were always told, don't try to play meteorologist. Don't try to interpret the radar. It's not an exact science. You don't want to say something that's not going to be correct. But come on. Did we really need to cancel every single school in the area because of what essentially is amounting to a dusting right now? I understand the snow's going to continue all day. I understand there's a winter storm warning in effect. I understand that we haven't seen the worst of the storm right now. Producer Greg of the Jay Weber Show just came in and showed me his Ring doorbell camera. There's no snow on his lawn. None. He lives on the south side of Milwaukee. Milwaukee Public Schools closed today. And when MPS closes, pretty much every other school district in the area closes as well. I swear I'm not going to be that guy. Back in my day, we never closed schools for anything. We'd have to walk through the blizzard conditions if we had to. I'm not going to be that guy. I promise you I'm not going to be that guy. And I guarantee my kids are sitting at home saying, Dad, shut up. We like having the snow day. Who am I kidding? My kids aren't up yet because they've got a snow day today. It's to me, this is ridiculous. Now, maybe this is a credit to the city services in Greenfield, Wisconsin, and it probably is. But our radio station is located in Greenfield. It's a south suburb of Milwaukee. It's about as far southwest as you can get. In fact, 124th Street is the dividing line. We're on 121st and Howard. 125th and Howard, you're in New Berlin. That's Waukesha County. The streets were totally fine. Granted, I'm not driving a school bus, but I would suspect that the buses would have had no issue. I don't understand it. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. I totally do. We've got a lot of snow days. We've got to burn them. Here's a great opportunity. I'm just saying. I swear I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. I understand there's a lot that goes into the decision to cancel school and the decision to cancel. We're here. I'm here. Pretty much every other business in the universe is here. I understand. Look, the one thing you'll never hear me second guess is cold days or when the wind chill is below a certain point. Kids can't stand outside. It is physically very, very dangerous. Frostbite and frost nip can develop within a couple of minutes. It's physically dangerous for them to be standing around at a bus stop waiting for the bus to come. And I understand when the roads aren't plowed or the snow is coming down too fast, too hard for the plows to keep up with. I understand that the buses physically can't run. I'm just saying there is no reason. The issue, you know what the issue is when school is canceled, right? The issue is that the buses just can't, because buses obviously are much more difficult to handle and to maneuver than cars or SUVs. They don't have the same tires. They're big. They're unwieldy. I get it. The issue is always that the plows can't keep up with the snow and that there's too much snow, too much ice on the road. It seems like the plows are doing a just fine. Now, I may be wrong. By 3 p.m. this afternoon, when incidentally I will be back on the air. Yes, we're beginning today, filling in for the Mark Belling late afternoon show. It's going to be me today, tomorrow, and Thursday. The Friday afternoon show for the next 4 months, when Belling is taking his annual sabbatical down to Florida. There will still be a Friday afternoon show. The Mark Belling show still continues. Wait, what? You just, producer Dave in there just shook his head. I'm not doing Friday, am I? Okay, good. Okay, good. That would have been one heck of a surprise, because I've already got like the next 4 months of fish fries planned out. That would significantly impact my life. If you were watching the Dano cam, I'm sure you saw how wide my eyes got when I thought for a millisecond that I had to do 2 shows 5 days a week. No, I will be doing Monday through Thursday. Belling was on yesterday because of the New Year holiday. He wanted to get a full 5-day work week in to start off the year. Well, okay, yes, 4-day work week for Mark. But I will be doing Monday through Thursday, the Dan O'Donnell Show and the Mark Belling Late Afternoon Show on our flagship station, WISN, as well as the Dan O'Donnell Show on Friday. That means 5 hours of Dan per day, Monday through Thursday. It'll be a Dan overdose, and I'm sure you won't be able to get enough of it. But, okay. If at 3 o'clock the snow is coming down very, very hard, the plows just can't keep up, I get that. I get that's a good reason to close the schools. And I also get that it is very difficult to accurately predict just how much snow is going to fall. This, incidentally, should be yet another reminder that the exact same people who have no idea whether we're going to get 5 inches or 10 inches of snow 12 hours out can tell us with absolute certainty what the average global temperature is going to be 150 years from now if we don't all get rid of our SUVs. Incidentally, if you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show, our AdventNews.com talk and text line is always open, 414-799-1130. 1-800-838-9476. You can email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, at Dan O'Donnell Show on YouTube. I don't know if that's how you actually refer to it. YouTube.com/ you can find me. Just search for the Dan O'Donnell Show on YouTube as we are streaming live via the Dan-O-Cam. I've got live streams of pretty much every show for the last couple of months since we resurrected the Dan-O-Cam. I am also doing weekly and potentially getting up to bi-weekly videos for the McIver Institute. Great institution. I'm pleased to be making video and also writing content for, writing columns for. And our latest video is putting Biden's immigration crisis into proper perspective. Just how many people have crossed the border? The 8 million people, it's roughly 7.9 million illegals that we know about who are on the docket, meaning they're claiming asylum. They have court hearings, allegedly, but they haven't been detained, plus the number of known gotaways, which is roughly 1.7 million. That's 7.9 million people have come into this country just under Biden and are living here illegally. 7.9 million. To put that into perspective, that's more than the population of about 35 to 36 U.S. states. It's roughly the population of New York. New York's 8.3 million. The number of illegals in this country, 7.9 million people. Larger than the population of pretty much every country after about number 75. I mean, you've got the population. This is a bigger population than Norway, Finland, Denmark, Ireland, New Zealand, all coming here and just living illegally under Biden. And by one study, admittedly a more immigration hawkish study by the Center for, I believe it's Fair Immigration, Center for Fair Immigration Reform, or FAIR, F-A-I-R. They say the cost of taking care of all of the illegal immigrants in the United States is $451 billion. $451 billion. To put that into perspective, now this is the cost not just to the federal government, but to states, to everybody sharing the burden. $451 billion just to take care of all the illegals in President Biden's America. $451 billion. That is more than the gross domestic product, the total output of about 180 countries. No, I got that wrong. It's about 85 countries. Well, watch the video. It's up at McIver Institute. This is remarkable. I did this last week, and I've already forgotten a lot of the statistics I put together. But in any event, predicting the weather is hard. Predicting the climate, though, is easy. Give me a break. it is almost impossible to predict weather cycles. We say, okay, well, this is an El Nino year, which typically means in the American Southeast, Florida and the like, it's going to be cooler, it's going to be rainier, but that's actually good for us here in the upper Midwest because it means we're likely to have a milder winter in the El Nino cycle. Can you tell me what is likely to be the average temperature for the next 4 months in Wisconsin? No, you can't, can you? Well, damn, that's weather. That's different. Okay, but you can tell me to the specificity of 1.5 degrees Celsius what the average global temperature is going to be 100 years from now. This is the claim that's being made. Whose science are we following here? Nostradamus's? We do have a brand new contest just debuted yesterday across all iHeartRadio stations. It is the Cold Hard Cash Contest. And the nationwide keyword to win $1,000 instantly is pay. P-A-Y. You got until 55 past this hour to go to our website and enter the keyword pay. It is not a texting contest, as we established yesterday. You need to go to the website. And if your entry is picked at random, you enter the word pay, you get a phone call probably somewhere before 1/4 the next hour. Be sure to answer it because it just might be us telling you that you have won $1,000 in our Cold Hard Cash Contest. Scandal in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Plus, Republicans unveil their medical marijuana bill, and Governor Evers proves he has absolutely no idea what's going on with the Supreme Court's redistricting decision. All that coming up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Dan O'Donnell is coming right back after this.
Introducing a brand new way to play fantasy football, Pick Six. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, just dropped a brand new app, and new customers can make their first NFL picks and get $100 back in Pick Six credits if they don't win. Just select a player and choose if he's going to have more or less of a stat, track your lineup, and compete against others. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and get started with code GREATESTPICK. New customers can get up to $50 back in Pick Six credit if your first pick set loses. Only on DraftKings Pick Six with code GREATESTPICK. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick Six credits valid for Pick Six use only, expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick Six operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at picksix.draftkings.com.
Tracy, over to you for weather.
The sun must be shining, Dave, because the 7 for 7 sale is back at Meijer. Mix or match hundreds of items like Dannon Greek yogurt, Meijer frozen steamable vegetables, and Kraft macaroni and cheese. Pick any 7 for just $7. There's a strong chance of saving with the same quality Meijer deals in-store or online. Back to you, Dave.
Sounds great, Tracy.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When Freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
It's 2024. Do you honestly think the government is looking out for you? Do they have your back? We have political chaos, global wars, no border protection, and our leadership telling you about pronouns and electric cars. It's time to take a hard look at protecting yourself and your family. It's time to visit the Oxford Gold Group. Go to oxfordgoldgroup.com/free and order the investment guide. Oxford Gold Group/free. That's Oxford Gold Group/free. Oxford Gold Group/free.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
When
you're due for tire service, visit richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands. Talk radio. Redefined.
I'ma do my own thing.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
I decided that I gotta do my own thing. I just gotta do my own thing.
Doing my own thing each and every day here on the radio, sometimes twice. Today we do begin the double dose of Dan. I will be sitting in for Mark on the Mark Belling late afternoon show at 3 p.m. Should we put this to a poll, Producer Dave? I've been toying with the idea of opening up the Dano cam from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. as well as today. What do you think? Would it be how would Mark feel? It is his show. I don't think Mark cares. Mark's in the Miami area right now, and I'm taking a wild guess he's not paying too much attention. He was emailing us this morning about it. Boy, did you watch the video he sent? Yeah, it was a dash cam video as well as body camera footage from an officer involved shooting, and yikes. Yeah, just here's word to the wise. When an officer says, drop the gun, you probably should drop the gun. I'm just saying. I'm not a practicing lawyer, but I'm just saying. I'm going to give you some free legal advice. Drop the gun. When an officer, here's some good advice for your life. When a police officer tells you to do something, generally speaking, it's a good idea to do it. Just saying. Just say. I know you have been taught by broader mainstream liberal culture over the last 3 years, since the death of St. George the Pious, since the martyrdom of our brother, Mr. Floyd. I know you have been taught the opposite, that officers are not worthy of your respect. You don't have to listen to them. Let's just think about this logically. If someone is holding a gun at you and telling you to do something, the likelihood that you are going to be shot goes up exponentially if you don't do that thing that they're telling you when they're holding a gun on you. Should we put it to a vote, though? I'll email Mark, of course, and say, hey, is it okay if I stream the show live? I mean, it's not him. I'm not going to be wearing like a Mark Belling mask. What do you think he'd care? No, I'm not. Well, what do you think? Should we, just to mess with him, should we, we can do that. We can superimpose Mark's face on my face and like have his lips moved. Ooh, yeah, we could have a fat head of Mark like they have at college basketball games when they're trying to distract a free throw shooter. There's all sorts of fun we can have with this, but no, I think we are, I don't know. We'll put it to you. Shoot us a text, adventknows.com talk and text line 414-799-1130. You can shoot us a comment on our current YouTube or Facebook streams. I guess Twitter X is now taking live YouTube comments, or excuse me, live video comments as well. Well, Republicans have unveiled their medicinal marijuana proposal.
Assembly Republicans roll out their proposal to allow marijuana for certain medical reasons.
That's something that's been a long time coming.
The bill would not allow the pot to be smoked, but would allow it to be in other forms, to be eaten or in gels, vapors, or patches.
It's another way for people to get treatment in a way that hopefully will be less addictive, more impactful, and hopefully have less negative side effects than the constant and chronic use of opioids.
The patients would get a card that would allow them to get marijuana at one of 5 state-controlled dispensaries. The state would also regulate growers, including that it be grown in an enclosed, locked facility and that they pay the initial license fee of $10,000. The state initially would contract with one processor, and they would need to have their products sent to a lab to be tested.
So let me get this straight. The state is going to own the means of production of marijuana. Do I have this right? Republicans, the state will own the means of production. Assembly Speaker Vos, I have this right. Conservatives are going to own a particular industry. The state government is going to own a particular industry in Wisconsin, a medical industry. They are going to take over an area of medicine. Do we start calling this Robin Vos care? Ovasa care? I suppose I don't have as much of an issue with this decidedly leftward lurch from the Republicans in the state assembly as I do with what this obviously is. I mean, we all understand what this is, right? Why, as soon as 2024 starts, are Republicans suddenly interested in giving the people their pot? Yes. It is, I hate to be as cynical as I am, but folks, I've been doing this for way too long. Republicans understand intrinsically that the marijuana issue is one that's been killing them for years, not as much as in 2022 and in 2023 with the abortion issue, but it's another one of those issues where on policy, Republicans are correct. Opposing the legalization of marijuana, especially recreational marijuana, is the correct policy position. Just look at all of the research that's connecting marijuana use with schizophrenia, with all manner of depression symptoms, with all manner of literally psychosis in especially younger, more developing brains that are far more likely to be ingesting massive amounts of marijuana. And of course, the THC content, even when compared with the THC content of weed produced in like 2008, has gone up just astronomically. We understand that higher levels of THC has a greater correspondence with mental problems. What do we have in this country? What do I talk about all the time on this program? The mental health crisis, the untreated mental health crisis. Well, the legalization and increased availability of marijuana is sort of a double-edged sword. And why that is because it's not only one of the, contributing factors, if not outright causes, of mental health in younger people, it's also turned to as self-medication. Okay, you get into this vicious cycle of mental illness, and then you say, oh, I just want to feel normal again. I just want to feel normal. I just want to feel like myself. What do people do? Instead of seeking treatment, instead of getting on a drug that will actually treat schizophrenic symptoms, they go right back to the pot. They'll go, okay, well, I need to calm down. I'm feeling really on edge. I'm going to calm down and smoke weed. Well, what that does is increase the THC in your system, dramatically impact your brain. Now, what we're talking about specifically, though, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, although Governor Evers himself has says, well, yes, this is the gateway to legalize recreational marijuana. So, of course, Republicans in the legislature say, you know what, Governor Evers, we'll do you one better. Not only are we going to legalize recreational marijuana, we're going to act like socialists in doing so. Brilliant, brilliant by Assembly Speaker Vos. Just bang up strategy. But what they want to do is say, look, they want to go to voters in the totally not Supreme Court gerrymandered districts that are going to be drawn in a couple of weeks. Look, we're doing what we can on legalized marijuana. They're trying to walk this tightrope between people like me, conservatives, who actually look at the medical science surrounding the legalization of marijuana, and those who say, well, yeah, okay, fine, but we really want to smoke pot. And those that also, like me, understand. Look, I fully understand, folks. Don't misunderstand. I fully understand I am on the opposite side of an increasing majority of Americans, especially younger voters, who want legalized recreational marijuana. I feel like I have personally lost this argument. I understand that. I understand legalized marijuana at some point in the next decade, possibly even earlier than that, will be legal in all 50 states. Recreational marijuana will be legal. You'll get a Supreme Court decision or a federal law or something like that, and that's going to be that. I do believe, though, that the mental health crisis that we've seen explode over the past, 8 to 10 years, it's weird how that coincides with the legalization and increased availability in something that science has repeatedly proven to cause mental health issues. But in terms of just medicinal marijuana, the advocates of it, I believe, have been dramatically overstating its impact. Study published March 2022, and to my knowledge, this is the most recent major study into the effects of medicinal marijuana published in the JAMA Open Network. That the conclusion was that there hasn't been an extensive study, but that medicinal marijuana card holders did not experience many of the supposed benefits of cannabis, other than, take a wild guess. If you had to guess, what symptom did they absolutely report? What benefit did they report? Better sleep. So instead of taking, what's that gummy that you take to fall asleep better? Melatonin. Thank you. Instead of taking melatonin, you take a pot gummy, you're going to sleep better. That's literally the only one. There was also an increase in what's known as cannabis use disorder. What's that? How many people have ever heard of CUD, cannabis use disorder? Nope. You know why? Because what is the single biggest myth that we are told about marijuana? It's harmless, right? It's non-addictive. CDC's website, cannabis use disorder. Some people who use marijuana will develop marijuana use disorder, meaning that they are unable to stop using marijuana even though it's causing health and social problems in their lives. What does that sound like to you, to the average lay person, when you're unable to stop doing something even though it's causing big problems in your life? Sounds an awful lot like addiction, right? The CDC is doing its level best not to use the A word. One study estimated that approximately, now this is from the CDC, the CDC says one study estimated that approximately 3 in 10 people who use marijuana have marijuana use disorder, 30%. If you are a regular or semi-regular marijuana user, you have about a 30% chance of being addicted to it. Another study estimated that people who use cannabis have about a 10% likelihood of becoming addicted. The risk of developing marijuana use disorder is greater in people who start using marijuana during youth or adolescence and who use marijuana more frequently. Folks, this is exactly like alcoholism. If you go to the CDC's page on alcoholism, it is roughly the exact same thing. Researchers do not yet know the full extent of the consequences when the body and brain are exposed to high concentrations of THC, or how recent increases in concentrations affect the risk of someone developing marijuana use disorder. In other words, we have no idea how bad this stuff can be, but we do know it's addictive. We do know there is an association with all manner of mental health problems, and we also know that there's a mental health crisis in this country. So yeah, Republicans, let's legalize it for medicinal use only. For medicinal use only. It's totally not going to. By the way, one of the things that you can get a marijuana card for is anxiety. So technically, I have a diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder. I am very open about this because it is my mission on this program to eliminate the stigma surrounding mental health. I will scream from the hilltops. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I take escitalopram to control my symptoms, and I feel great. In fact, I don't have my pills in here now. I was going to do it live on the Dano Cam. I'm going to take my pill. Well, escitalopram, it's a generic. Do you know what I pay? Do you know what I pay? Honest to goodness. Do you know what my copay is? Now, our company just switched our prescription plan, right? For a 3-month supply of escitalopram, I paid a copay of $3 because it's on generic, right? I'm not paying the brand name Lexapro. I'm just getting generic escitalopram. It's easy, right? So instead of that, would I be better served smoking weed before every show? I'm taking a wild guess. No, escitalopram is not habit forming. It's not addictive. But what Republicans are saying is, no, Dan. If you have, say, PTSD, instead of going to therapy and treating your symptoms, just take some weed. Just smoke some weed. The entire debate surrounding medical marijuana has been screwed up literally for 2 decades now. All right, we got to step aside for a break. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back in a second. Happy New Year. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built Right's held over New Year's sale ends Saturday. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops now more than ever. It's the time to support Built Right, a locally and family-owned business for 4 generations and 96 years strong. They're celebrating 18 years in their Greenfield location, and Built Right's 45,000 square foot showroom has thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. You'll find hard to find USA-made, small-scale, Amish-made, and real solid wood furniture, and more free in-store design services. Also, check out their selection of USA-made mattresses on sale, including hard-to-find flippable and heavy-duty models. Built Right always saves you money. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
If you want a fiduciary guiding your financial plan that will treat your assets as if they were their own, go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
Financial strategies, what's the way to build your wealth?
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. I frequently speak with people who are unhappy with their landscaping and they're unsure how to turn things around. Well, here are 4 tasks that will make a remarkable improvement to dull landscaping. Number 1, thick, lush green grass. We need food and water to be healthy. Our lawn care programs and irrigation systems provide your grass with everything it needs to thrive. Number 2, pruning. Regular, technically correct pruning keeps plants strong and vibrant. Number 3, plant bed edging and a fresh layer of bark mulch. There's nothing better than the look of crisp bed edges and fresh mulch. Number 4, landscape lighting. You finally have your landscaping looking its best. A landscape lighting system lets your landscaping come alive after dark. So there you are, 4 landscaping tips that amplify the beauty of your home. Please call Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
A great window is only as good as the crew that's installing it, and that's exactly why you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Think commitment. Think Limo has been committed to our community for over 45 years. Think gratitude. They are truly thankful for their partners' continued support. Think generosity. Think Limo is driven to make a difference. They believe in the importance of giving back. Think Limo is more than just a transportation service. I know this firsthand. I'm Lori Bowman, Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the Marcus Performing Arts Center, a proud business partner of Think Limo. Think dedicated. Think partner. ThinkLimo.com.
There are many reasons to choose document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Chris McLean, co-owner of DBAD Brookfield, the baseball and softball training facility, had his reasons.
I think the biggest thing, the important things for me are effective communication and timely response.
James Imaging Systems, Kyocera copiers, Kyocera network printers, Kyocera color systems, and the James team that works with you to provide the business technology to help you thrive.
Honestly, Candy had a lot to do with it.
Candy, your James Imaging Systems sales representative.
Candy built great rapport with our general manager right out of the gate. It helps that they're a local business. We're a local business as well.
James Imaging Systems, effective communication and local responsiveness.
They're a partner. James Imaging is a partner, not a vendor.
Kia Serra from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
The Fed is setting a digital dollar control trap. The new FedNow system might sound modern and convenient, but the truth is, it's all about surveillance and control. Don't be fooled. Secure your assets right now with something Washington cannot manipulate. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon, former advisor to Donald Trump. And in these times of uncertainty, I believe the best way to defend your savings is to use tangible assets, which is why I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Because gold has a 5,000-year track record as the ultimate guardian of wealth. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SECURE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, so text SECURE to the number 989898. That's SECURE to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Message and data rates may apply.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 70s Rock Ride, Pink Floyd, Eagles, Van Halen, Tom Petty, Zeppelin, and more. Try something new for 2024. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search 70s Rock Ride, and listen now. iHeartRadio, free never sounded so good.
iHeartRadio.
Debating whether to take phone calls this afternoon. I have a lot more to say on the totally not Leninist operation of pot dispensaries that the state Republican Party, rather Assembly Republican. I apologize for my voice today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. There's just been a frog in my throat all morning long. Yeah, it's probably the dry air. And yes, I am really, really nervous about doing 5 hours of radio today with my voice sounding like this. Although the one benefit is I sound a lot deeper and I think my voice is far more sultry. Well, it's you know, when you just have that frog in your throat, everybody's had that. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for you, you don't have to talk for 2 hours at a stretch. I do. So if you're watching on the Dano cam and you're not hearing a sound, but you're seeing my entire body shudder, it is me using the cough button to clear my throat. Potential major scandal in the prosecution of former President and current Chief Biden political opponent, Donald Trump, down in Georgia. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis appointed someone who appears to be a former romantic partner and someone who she was living with during at least some of the time he was a special prosecutor looking into Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the election in Georgia. In reality, Donald Trump's request of a review of Georgia's ultra-tight vote. Court filing yesterday by Michael Roman, who was briefly a special assistant and researcher to Trump, focused on trying to challenge the results of the 2020 election, something that up until 2020 was perfectly legal and Democrats have done in every single presidential election they've lost this century. He says this: the district attorney and the special prosecutor have been seen in private together in and about the Atlanta area and are believed to have cohabited in some form or fashion at a location owned by neither of them. In other words, an apartment. In addition, the special counsel, Nathan Wade, According to this filing, sources close to both the special prosecutor and the district attorney have confirmed they had an ongoing personal relationship. Now, Wade's law firm has been paid about $650,000, which Willis authorized. This is if this allegation is correct, massive conflict of interest. In fact, this is the sort of stuff that you can potentially get disbarred for, especially since Wade is not especially experienced. Again, according to this filing, the research reveals that the special prosecutor never tried a felony RICO case, Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organizations Act. That's what Trump and many of his co-defendants are charged under, that this was a corrupt organization that was engaged in essentially a conspiracy to overturn the results of the election in Georgia. The state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta has several lawyers who specialize in the prosecuting and defending of RICO cases. Despite having access to these resources, why would the district attorney instead appoint someone who has never tried a single felony RICO case, particularly in a case with such national significance as this one? Excellent question, isn't it? Why would you? With so much on the line, especially since a case like this has never once in the history of the United States been brought against a former president. Up until last April, a criminal case had never before been brought of any kind against a former president. This is just the second state case in the history of the United States to ever be brought against a former president. So we're having the guy who's never actually argued a trial like this, even though there are other more qualified and theoretically competent lawyers who would be able to do this. Why out of everyone did Fani Willis pick this guy? Moreover, according to this filing, the then couple suddenly had enough resources to take not one, but 2 luxury cruises together. The implication here, and I have not seen any more substantive proof than, hey, we have sources who... It would not surprise me, however, if one or more of the defendants actually did have a tail on Fani Willis, trying to figure out something that would impugn her credibility. Is it sleazy? Absolutely. Did it uncover something that potentially rises to the level of actionable offense? You'd better believe it. The conflict of interest here, if Willis was using state resources, and it appears she did, to benefit someone close to her without disclosing that relationship especially, there is a very, very serious ethical breach here. There is it potentially, depending on how those state resources were used, it potentially does rise to the level of criminal behavior by Fani Willis. Again, there doesn't seem to be, at least I read the filing, I didn't pore over it. I read it once last night after it came down. I said, ooh, boy, there are some substantial allegations here. The question, of course, is going to be whether the Georgia State Bar, whether whatever Office of Lawyer Regulation equivalent that they have in Georgia takes this seriously, and whether there is, in fact, any sort of subsequent investigation to this. Does this potentially negate, or does this potentially lead to the dismissal of charges against Trump or any of his co-defendants? Yes, theoretically it could. If it could be demonstrated that, say, Fani Willis only started this investigation to enrich herself and didn't really believe that there was probable cause to indict Trump or any of his alleged co-conspirators, you'd better believe that those prosecutions would be tossed out. More importantly, what I believe this filing is doing is setting the stage for the inevitable appeal following what is expected to be a conviction in this one. Dan O'Donnell Show, it's conservative thought, not just talk.
Winter in Wisconsin Wisconsin offers two options, hibernate or activate. For those who choose the latter,
Warm up your goggles with
playing the nationwide Cold Hard Cash Contest 9 times each weekday on News Talk 1130 WISN. Listen for a keyword, enter it at WISN's website, and take your shot at the hourly prize of $1,000.
The Cold Hard Cash Contest is presented by Perspire Sauna Studio in Brookfield. Discover the relaxation, healing, and other benefits of the infrared sauna. PerspireSaunaStudio.com.
Introducing a brand new way to play fantasy football Pick 6. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, just dropped a brand new app, and new customers can make their first NFL picks and get $100 back in Pick 6 credits if they don't win. Just select a player and choose if he's going to have more or less of a stat, track your lineup, and compete against others. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code GREATESTPICK. New customers can get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credit if your first pick set loses. Only on DraftKings Pick 6 with code GREATESTPICK. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits valid for Pick 6 use only, expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
Do you ever feel like no one is listening? That no one has your back? Hi, I'm Karen Ellenbecker, founder and senior wealth advisor for the Ellenbecker Investment Group. Having your back means being loyal and dependable, always having your best interest at heart, standing by someone even when things get tough. At EIG, we take time to understand our clients' unique circumstances and goals, creating a personalized plan that aligns with their needs to best navigate the ups and downs of the market. We provide objective and unbiased advice regarding the investments and retirement planning that complements their individualized plan. We help our clients make informed decisions in periods of uncertainty and instability by communicating clearly and listening to their concerns. We maintain trusted relationships with our clients by putting their interests first throughout their financial journey. We have your back. We listen. We are advisors for real life.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Wisconsin, you deserve better. You deserve stress-free quality roofing. Let Klaus Roofing Systems by Buck Buckley, BBB award-winning service, take care of you and your family. For a free roofing consultation, visit KlausRoofingByBuck.com. And remember, put a Klaus on your house.
Are you ready to feel more confident about retirement? Hi, I'm Jeff Cowell of Cowell Investment Group, the retirement specialist. Our team of fiduciary advisors can help. Give us a call today at 262-522-4040 and listen Saturday at 10 a.m. to The Retirement Clinic.
If you're someone who is experiencing shoulder, hip, or knee pain and a total joint replacement may be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. Find them at orthowisconsin.com.
Choose from countless luxury flooring options at Flawless Flooring's New Berlin or Delafield Idea Gallery. Flawless Flooring's employee-only installers beautify your everyday going forward right after eliminating carpet stains and stink. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, and it is time now to name our unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump
is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberals of the day are the two unnamed, thus far unidentified journalists who were caught on a hot mic this morning joking about former President Donald Trump being assassinated as they awaited his appearance at the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., where his criminal immunity appeal will be held. This just came into us a second ago at a totally different unhinged liberal plan. And we don't have the audio just yet, but here's the transcript provided to Mediaite. Journalist one, you know what the worst part is? Even if he has his window open and he's hanging out of it, he'll be on the other side of the street, meaning Trump, and they won't be able to get a good shot, camera shot of him. Journo 2, I mean, if he's driving, we've got a good shot. Journo 1, yeah, if he's driving with the front window open. Journo 2, yeah, or if it's a convertible, yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, like if he just pulls up, like JFK, the other journalist laughs. Maybe someone, just like they told JFK, you know what you should do? You should take a convertible. It's so nice out. I trust that I don't need to tell you the reference to JFK in a convertible. Those two unnamed journalists, your unhinged liberals of the day. Clearly, they're going to be punished for this. I mean, whoever it is that employs them knows who they are. Clearly, they're going to be punished. Like, imagine if, say, on a hot mic, Peter Doocy was caught talking about Barack Obama rolling up in a convertible just like JFK. I mean, clearly there would be the same level of outcry for the casual joking about the assassination of a former president, right? I mean, these media outlets, they're held to a high ethical standard. We can't reveal deep-seated bias by this sort of joking. Now, is this the worst sort of Trump assassination joke out there? No. Does it reveal that these two journalists would not really have a problem if Trump was shot JFK style? Yeah. If this were, say, Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters caught joking about the assassination of Joe Biden, would it be a massive issue? Of course it was. Oh, if it was Tucker Carlson, they would demand Tucker get pulled off his Twitter show. Forget about losing his gig at Fox News. Still hard to believe that's been almost a year since Tucker's been off the air. Coincidentally, I haven't really been paying attention to much Fox News primetime programming since Tucker was taken off the air, but that's neither here nor there. Coming up after the top of the hour, we're going to talk with Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson about the untenable situation at America's southern border, Hard Truth Tuesday, and also, right out of the chute, the zombie proposal that just won't die. No matter how many times you try to kill it, ranked choice voting rises from the dead. That coming up next.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. The National Weather Service is keeping a winter storm warning in place until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. Milwaukee and lakefront communities may see just 3 inches of snow, but places further inland will see the worst of the winter weather with a possible 10 inches of snow falling there. National Weather Service meteorologist Cam Miller says that snow could be heavy and wet.
When you shovel, it's going to kind of feel like the consistency of concrete.
Forecasters continue to expect the heaviest snowfall later on this morning, and they say we could see heavy snow all the way through the drive home this evening. Republicans at the Capitol in Madison advance a bill to restrict public resources from going to abortions. The measure, approved by a party-line vote in a state Senate committee yesterday, would prohibit all state and local government employees from providing abortions, abortion information, referrals, or training, and ban the use of public property for those purposes. It doesn't prohibit physicians from providing abortion care if the life of a pregnant mother is at risk, and all reasonable measures to save the life of the mother and child have been taken. If it gets to his desk, Governor Tony Evers would likely veto the bill. U.S. airlines canceled fewer flights last year than they have in the last decade. That's despite being the busiest ever year for air travel. The U.S. Department of Transportation says of a total of 16 million flights in 2023, the cancellation rate was below 1.2%. That's almost half of the 2.3% reported in 2022. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, after falling to the Utah Jazz last night, the Bucks next host the Boston Celtics Thursday night at the Fiserv Forum. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at Mander Collision and Glass. I talk all the time about how Mander is your best decision after a collision or for windshield repair. But here's customer Sarah, who writes, I went to Mander Glass in Muskego after getting a large crack in my windshield. They were able to get me in for an appointment quickly, and they were able to replace my windshield in just a few hours. The end result looks great. Very happy with the service and friendliness of the staff. Would recommend. Thanks so much for sharing that, Sarah. And in fact, I just had almost the exact same experience with Mander Glass myself. I got a small crack, which turned into a large crack, and the team at Mander took care of me with the professional and courteous service that you can only get from a family-owned business like Mander. Sarah and I know what you should too. Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A winter storm warning is in effect until 3 a.m. on Wednesday. Several inches worth of snow expected. Lower amounts lakeside where some rain may mix in. Highs today should be around 36, feeling much colder with a strong wind. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. At Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance, you can save up to 60% on select mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Here's to better sleep in 2024. The right mattress matters, and Mattress Firm will find yours.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna here, inviting you to join my annual fishing trip to Ontario's Lake of the Woods. Our destination is Ballard's Black Island Resort for the annual Vicki McKenna Canadian Fishing Adventure. The guides, the fishing, food, and the accommodations are all top shelf. The dates this year, July 7th to the 13th, and we only have room for 20 guests, so spaces will go quickly. Join me, Vicki McKenna, and sign up by going to blackisland.com. That's blackisland.com, and let's set the hook.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Designer Yard Show. I want to share a landscaping secret with you. Winter is when our ornamental trees and shrubs need us most. We all know that plants need pruning, but why in the winter? Well, first, we can see their structure best when the leaves have fallen. And second, pruning is not so stressful when your plants are dormant. Pruning is affordable and makes a huge impact on the vitality and beauty of your trees and shrubs. So prune this winter and have gorgeous flowers next spring and summer. Pruning also helps keep your plants properly sized. No more dancing around them on the sidewalk or wrestling through them to wash your windows. Call today and schedule a complimentary evaluation of your ornamental plants. Our plant care experts will make sure your trees, shrubs, and perennials perform and look their best. Discover the wonders of nature. Call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
If you have a smart speaker, listening to WISN has never been easier. Just tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio. Then sit back and enjoy the excellence.
So for my own amusement, I walked over to the sales area of our building just to see how many salespeople are actually working today, as there is now possibly 4 inches of snow on the ground. Maybe not even that much. 2 here. You don't think so? Hold on, folks. I can't see. For those watching on the Dano cam, I'm going to walk off screen for a second. Oh, God. Oh, come on. All right, I was way wrong on that one. It's like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Here in Greenfield, we are in Greenfield, far southwest Milwaukee County. Roads were fine when I drove in. The snow does seem to be coming down a lot faster now, a lot harder now. And it's going to be like this for how many more hours? We don't have a forecast. Jay Weber was doing his show from home. Am I supposed to say that? Well, screw him. No. We love Jay. Jay lives far away. I think he's pretty open. He lives by Holy Hill, so it's very difficult for him to get in, and he has to get in at like 4 or 5 in the morning, so he just did his show from home. It's very easy to do. If I wanted to, I could do my show from home every day. Yeah, he does it all the time when the weather's bad. Oh, Vicky does it all the time. Does she? I had no idea. Let's see. It is going to keep snowing until about midnight, probably really start to taper off about 7, 8 o'clock. And next chance for snow, incidentally, comes up Friday. It is going to get a little cold and windy overnight, but we're not going to see that dramatic temperature drop, that cold front that invariably comes in after a big snowstorm. So thank goodness for that. Sorry, kids, you're not getting 2 straight snow days, even though the winter storm warning does technically go until Thursday. Is that right? What's today? Yes, I'm aware today's Tuesday. Is it the 8th or the 9th? Okay, so it does go until the 10th. Okay, that's Wednesday. Never mind. Boy, if you think I suck at remembering the dates now, wait until like 5 weeks of doing Belling. Okay, that came out really, really wrong. 5 weeks of doing the Belling show. Just put a horrible image in my own head. Doing the Belling show. For those who are unaware, WISN listeners, you get a double dose of Dan O'Donnell Monday through Thursday from now basically until May 1st. Mark frankly, he's earned it. As I defy you to name in this country a more impactful and longer lasting, longer tenured local radio talk show host than Mark Belling. So he's earned what we have agreed to as a company is he gets to live the good life in Florida for a couple of months out of the year. Let's face it, if I could, I'd be at my mom's house down in Naples right now. Actually, theoretically, I could. I could just take a Comrex unit and do it, but for reasons known only to God, I am masochistic enough to live in Wisconsin and love living in Wisconsin during the winter. I'm actually thinking about between shows today going cross-country skiing. I love cross-country skiing. I don't have the balance for downhill skiing or snowboarding. Producer Dave is looking at me like I'm some sort of psycho. Why? There's going to be 30-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, I am going to go on the Nordic track to get my cross-country skiing fix in. Look, Dave, I'm in my own little world. I prepare for the topics I'm going to talk about. And, weather, frankly, is not one of them because, the reality is a lot of people do like the time check, like it's 10:11 on WISN, temperature 32 degrees. So many people listen after the fact that it just, I've always felt the traffic updates, like I will get, I-94 is shut down. Well, somebody listening at 4:00 p.m. as we have the data that shows a lot of you do, it's kind of useless. So I try to make my shows a little bit less time sensitive, dependent than others. One thing I do have to do before 10:55, however, is give you the word, the nationwide keyword in the cold hard cash contest. That word is bank, B-A-N-K, bank. You've got until 55 past this hour to go to our website, enter the keyword bank to enter the contest for this hour. Let's see. Looking at the Dano Cam, as we are our official Photoshop artist, a guy who goes by the handle Berserker Dave, has come through again. He has, we were toying with the idea of doing the Dano Cam, our live stream of the show, during the Mark Belling late afternoon show. And I said I was going to do the show wearing a Belling mask, or we were going to put up a picture of me in a Belling mask. Well, wouldn't you know it, the man works fast. He is nothing if not a fast worker. He has put it up there. Now, we are going to, let's see if I can get this done very quickly. We are going to put up on the Dano Cam. I might have to do this after the commercial break, but it is me as Mark Bell. I kind of look like the Phantom of the Opera, so we'll put that up in a little bit. And I'm noticing some of the comments on our YouTube. Does Dan actually respond to these comments? Yes, dear listener, I do. I don't always have time to type out a response, but yes, I am always watching to see comments come in. Same thing with texts, same thing with phone calls. I have producer Dave try to relay to me everything that he hears off the air. I read every email. I don't always have time to respond to everyone, but rest assured, I try to look at every single comment, and we do get hundreds in a given show. Someone says, Dan would not be surprised if you get whiteout conditions this afternoon. Winds have really picked up. And but that's the reason they closed schools. Dave's saying, well, this afternoon, why'd they close schools this morning? So it's easier, I think, for a school district. And once again, I'm not going to be that guy who's like, they shouldn't have canceled school in my day. They wouldn't have done that. Because there's a ton that goes into this decision. I'm telling you, it is easier to just close school than to do an early dismissal. Right? Think about it. You got to get, now my kids doesn't really matter. My oldest is driving. I just be like, Nick, you're picking up everybody today. Sorry. But for people with younger kids, the early dismissal can really kind of mess, because then you've got to arrange for, let's say you arrange for a babysitter, both mom and dad work, or it's a single parent family and mom works, dad works, something like that. You've got to arrange for babysitting that much earlier. You've got to get the buses to come a whole lot earlier than they otherwise would. Sometimes the bus drivers in between their morning and afternoon shifts will go to another job. Sometimes they're only afternoon bus drivers. They've got a job before that. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not doubting that it's just easier to cancel school. And this is why that I don't really have an issue with school being closed, but it's a tad disheartening to wake up and there's an inch of snow on the ground and the roads are totally clear. Like, really? My kids are missing a day of school for this? All right. It is the proposal that just won't die. Consider it the walking dead of bad ideas. And in fact, I believe that is going to be the title of my latest column at the McIver Institute, The Walking Dead of Bad Ideas. It is, of course, ranked choice voting. Just when you thought we couldn't get any dumber as a species, we come up with an idea like this. Right now at the Wisconsin Capitol, Republicans are holding a hearing on ranked choice voting, introducing legislation to bring it to Wisconsin for congressional and Senate elections. Now, initially, there was another hearing that was scheduled. We reported on this last week that would propose a constitutional amendment banning ranked choice or Final Five voting in the state of Wisconsin. And guess what happened? That hearing got nuked, just taken off the calendar. Nope, we cannot debate both sides of this issue. We must only debate the pros of ranked choice voting. It is quite possibly the worst choice Wisconsinites can make. And this is an issue that is very technical. So I apologize in advance, but I do have to make sure everybody knows what we're talking about. How do you vote now? You walk into your local polling place, you say hi to the nice little old lady who asks for your ID, you sign your name, you're given a ballot, you fill out the ballot, you put it in the machine, you get an I voted sticker, and you go on your merry way. If you're in Milwaukee, you get a ballot mailed to you. Somebody else fills it out. You say, okay, I guess I vote. No, I'm kidding, but not really. The point is that we have a well-worn concept that is actually in the Constitution. It's known as one person, one vote. I am a citizen of the United States of America. Every election, I have the absolute unfettered right to cast a vote. One vote for whichever candidate I think is best for the position. The exceptions to this are in, say, school board races. We say pick 3 of the following 8 candidates. Still, I am casting one vote per person, per candidate. Ranked choice voting gets rid of this. It's taken hold in the far left bastions of Hawaii, Maine, and New York City, and even in the otherwise sane state of Alaska. What it does is eliminate partisan primaries. So instead of Republicans voting in one primary, Democrats voting in another, it forces voters to rank candidates in order of preference, usually from 1st to 5th. If there are more candidates than the final 5, are the ones who actually get ranked. If one candidate out of, say, the 5 gets more than 50% of the vote, 50% plus one vote, races over, that candidate wins, easy peasy. With 5 candidates on the ballot, how likely do you think one candidate is to get 50% of the vote? Almost non-existent, right? You're correct. But if no candidate gets more than 50% of the vote, things get certifiably insane. The votes are counted. First place votes, second place votes, third, fourth, and fifth place votes. The candidate who is ranked first on the fewest number of ballots is eliminated. So let's say in a race, let's say it's the Republican primary. You've got Trump, DeSantis, Haley, Ramaswamy, Hutchinson. Hutchinson appears first on the fewest number of ballots. Those ballots, he's then eliminated. He's out. Those ballots are then recounted, and whoever those Hutchinson voters ranked second on their vote, on their ballot, move up to first. Those votes are then distributed amongst the remaining 4 candidates. So let's say I vote for Asa Hutchinson, and my second place vote is Trump. In the second round of balloting, my vote goes to Trump. The process is then repeated. Let's say in the next round of voting, Vivek Ramaswamy's votes. He has the fewest number of first place votes. He's out. Everyone who voted Vivek Ramaswamy first in the first round of voting or second in the second round of voting, bumped up to first, then has their third place votes recast as first. Producer Dave is shaking his head in there and says very flatly, what problem is this fixing? To ask that question is to answer it, Dave. This process repeats itself until one candidate gets 50% of the first place votes, more than 50%, or there are only 2 candidates remaining and the candidate with more votes wins. In other words, it takes like 5 rounds of vote counting to get to the point we are in the system we already have. Whoever gets the most votes wins the election. Isn't that simple? Why are we adding this insane calculation that, oh, by the way, leads to weeks and weeks and weeks in which the people don't know who won the election? In case you forgot, ranked choice voting was most famously first implemented in New York City. The biggest test of ranked choice voting was in the New York City mayoral primary. The candidate who appeared to be overwhelmingly likely to win, Eric Adams, actually filed suit because of the convoluted process that threatened to knock him out. New Yorkers didn't know for almost 3 weeks who their Democratic mayoral candidate was going to be. On the Republican side, it was pretty easy. I think Curtis Sliwa, the Guardian Angels guy, the radio show host, very cool guy, by the way. I believe we've either had him on this show or I've talked to him privately years ago. Nice guy. He ran away with the Republican primary. In Alaska is an overwhelmingly Republican state. It voted for President Trump by 10 points over Joe Biden in 2020, 16 points over Hillary Clinton in 2016. Somehow, in 2022, it sent a Democrat, Mary Peltola, to Congress. How did that happen? Because of what's known as exhausted ballots. And this is where ranked choice is unconstitutional. Exhausted ballots means at some point, let's say instead of voting for all 5 Republicans in my example, I only vote for 3. At some point, if it gets that far, my ballot will be exhausted, meaning I have no more choices to rank. Do you know what happens to my ballot? It's tossed out. That's right. Essentially, I don't get a choice in ranked choice voting. I'm not the only one who believes that this is a really bad idea. One of the absolute earliest adopters of ranked choice voting, Pierce County in Washington State, abandoned it just 4 years after implementing it. Do you know how much it cost to implement in Pierce County, small little county in Washington State? $1.6 million during the 2008 election cycle alone. It was so costly, it was so laborious that this county said, nope, we're done. The idea here that also the concept of it itself, all right? Let's say I rank every single voter. I'm not just disenfranchised when my ballot is exhausted if I rank fewer than the 5 voters, because let's say, okay, not voting is also an act of political speech. If I say I am not under any circumstances going to vote for Nikki Haley, I'm not going to rank her, but at some point my ballot could be exhausted and I actually de facto don't have a say in whether or not Nikki Haley is elected. The other problem is, all right, let's say I'm an Asa Hutchinson voter. I didn't just vote for Asa Hutchinson. I also, and let's say Trump is my second voter, or my second choice. So I voted for Asa Hutchinson in the first round of balloting. He's my first choice. Let's say Asa gets 500 votes. Strong performance. My vote is counted towards Asa Hutchinson, but then my second choice after Asa is eliminated is Donald Trump. I have effectively voted for both Asa Hutchinson and Donald Trump. So not only is it unconstitutional in violation of one person, one vote one way when exhausted ballots mean that I don't get a choice, I also conversely get multiple votes under ranked choice voting. You see how this is a major constitutional issue. Moreover, it has a weird tendency of electing Democrats. It wasn't just in Alaska. In Maine, 2018, congressional race there. First round of balloting sees Republican congressional candidate Bruce Polkwin leading the Democrat Jared Golden 46.3% to 45.6%. Regular election, it's over. Polkwin wins. He goes to Congress. But because a significant number of Polkwin's voters refused to rank Golden, because he's a Democrat and they're Republicans, 8,000 ballots were exhausted and thrown out. Golden won the election with fewer than half of the total ballots cast ultimately being counted in the final tally. That's unconstitutional. It disenfranchised 8,000 people. They didn't have their votes counted at all. The fact that it's not Democrats that are really pushing this. Of course, Democrats are going along with this. If there is a way to make voting more convoluted, more secretive, more laborious, and ultimately less constitutionally sound, less secure, and a less trustworthy process, they're all for it. But the fact that Republicans, who have been taking money hand over fist from a special interest group, multiple special interest groups that are trying to get this passed in Wisconsin, is unconscionable to me. They should know better, and I believe they do know better. Now, I am told behind the scenes, well, Dan, don't worry about this. It doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of passing. The Republican majority is never going to go along with it. Well, the Republican majority doesn't need to go along with it so long as a big enough Republican minority goes along with it and every Democrat, as I suspect they would, votes for it. This is a disaster. And the fact that there's a hearing going on right now is frankly disgusting to me. And coming up in the Mark Belling late afternoon show, we're going to have some highlights from that hearing so that you can hear exactly what it is that your Republican representatives think is best for you. What's wrong with our voting right now? Honest to goodness, what is wrong? And why is it? Why is it? Think about it like this. Republicans are rightly freaking out about the fact that the Wisconsin Supreme Court's new liberal majority just totally wiped out electoral maps and clearly are doing so to give Democrats a partisan advantage. And yes, I can prove that because three of the same four liberals okayed maps with what are known as municipal islands. They declared municipal islands a violation of the state constitution. Literally a year earlier, they said, yeah, municipal islands are just fine. So they're doing this clearly so that they can draw the maps to give maximum Democrat advantage. Republicans are freaking out about this. But yet they're also proposing legislation that would give a massive Democrat advantage. And we know this because it's given a massive Democrat advantage everywhere it's been tried. We've got limited data to work with, but if Alaska sends a Democrat to Washington as their lone congressional representative in a system that would have never, ever, ever in a million years produced a Democrat representative, that should tell you something. And that's why I will oppose ranked choice voting with every fiber of. I will testify before the state legislature on how bad of an idea this is.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Happy New Year. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built-Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built-Right's held over New Year's sale ends Saturday. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops now more than ever. It's the time to support Built-Right, a locally and family-owned business for 4 generations and 96 years strong. They're celebrating 18 years in their Greenfield location, and Built-Right's 45,000 square foot showroom has thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses. You'll find hard to find USA-made, small-scale, Amish-made, and real solid wood furniture, and more free in-store design services. Also, check out their selection of USA-made mattresses on sale, including hard-to-find, flippable, and heavy-duty models. Built-Right always saves you money. Voted best place to shop and winner of the Home Furnishings Association Retailer of the Year. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built-Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
At Bellman Homes, we always build with studs 16 inches on center, no matter what. And what that means is that our homes are very sturdy, strong, and quiet. So count on no regrets with your new Bellman home.
Bellman Homes. Snow on the ground means it's time to head over to Blaine's Farm and Fleet and stock up or restock your supply of snowy weather essentials. Shop great deals on quality name brand snow throwers, shovels, ice melt, and spreaders. Stay safe on snowy roads with trusted brands of tires and automotive batteries, jumper cables, antifreeze, emergency kits, and ice scrapers. Plus, we've got you covered from head to toe with great deals on boots, coats, hats, and gloves. Trust the cold weather experts and find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Here's why. Money. Warshevsky.
Settle down a little bit during the commercial break. My blood pressure was getting a little high. We do now have, courtesy of our good friend Berserker Dave, who, not producer Dave, Berserker Dave, the official Photoshop artist of the Dan O'Donnell Show. We do have up on the Dan O'Cam right now. I said if we were going to do live streaming during the Belling Show this afternoon, I'd have to wear a Mark Belling mask, or we'd have to have Belling's face superimposed over my own. Well, he did it. If you want to see what it looks like, head to the Dan O'Cam right now. It is a weird Mark Belling as the Phantom of the Opera look. but it is absolutely hilarious. Check it out right now. Dan O'Cam at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter/X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and YouTube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. If you want to see the unholy union of Dan O'Donnell and Mark Belling, it is right there. I know somebody who clearly wants to see that. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson joins me live on the phone. Sir, welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, Dan. Happy New Year, and I will check that out on the Dan O'Cam.
Thank you. I knew you would. I know you'll get a kick out of it, sir. One thing that you clearly haven't been getting a kick out of is the unsustainable situation at the southern border, and you appear to be one of the few senators who has been desperately trying, to get the Biden administration to enact some sort of meaningful stem to the unmitigated flow of migrants over this country. The statistics are just staggering. In December of 2023 alone, 300,000 migrant encounters at the southern border. That's in addition to the unknown number. I haven't seen that number of gotaways. People who the Border Patrol agents will see but are unable to apprehend or contact. Given that we know that roughly 90 to 95% of all of those people who are contacted by Border Patrol agents do, in fact, get into the interior of the United States, you essentially added the city of Pittsburgh to the United States population in 31 days. To say that's unsustainable would be the biggest understatement of this new year.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 10,000 per day over the last month. One day we hit 14,500. Remember, Jay Johnson, Obama's Secretary of the DHS, said that 1,000 a day overwhelmed the system. So we're an order of magnitude worse than that. But the problem with these negotiations in the Senate, and again, I think Lankford is doing as good a job as he can do. The problem is he's negotiating with the arsonists to put out the fire. You've got a president who wanted an open border that caused the problem. This didn't just get dumped in his lap. He opened up the border. He caused the problem, and his Democrat colleagues in the House and Senate, they haven't done anything. They voted against completing the wall that we already bought and paid for. So again, the conundrum for Republicans is, even if you get excellent legislative language that a president who wants to close the border could really use, and so it'd be valuable, okay? How do you force a president who wants an open border to actually implement the law? By the way, also a president who's completely lawless. The Supreme Court rules eviction moratorium unconstitutional. He extended it anyway. They rule forgiving student loans is unconstitutional. He keeps forgiving them. So again, we can't rely on this president to actually do anything. I'm disheartened by the number of op-eds in the Wall Street Journal, whose editorial board I really respect. The way they talk about, it'd be a big win if we get Ukraine funding with modest immigration reform. That won't secure the border. So as I'm talking to the negotiators, they're talking about one of the provisions that, if apprehensions exceed 5,000 days, so you'd already have to cut them in half, okay? If they exceed 5,000 days, well, then we shut down the border. And so I ask them, okay, how are you going to do that? How are you going to shut down the border? How are you going to seal it? Now, I think there's really only one way to seal it, and that's probably put the military on the border, put up concertina wire where we don't have fence, use the same munitions that the Capitol Police used against the January 6th protesters, and just say you're not coming in. I think that's the only way we're going to be able to do this. I haven't got an answer in terms of how they're going to actually seal the border, but if we agree to that, we're tacitly agreeing to saying, 5,000 days, okay. So again, it's just, Republicans are in an awful position because McConnell set us up this way, okay, to be blamed for both Ukraine and the border if we don't cave to some awful negotiation. So it's just an untenable position we're in. So, again, I'm doing everything I can. I've been, the Wall Street Journal, by the way, rejected a op-ed I wrote that Fox News ran talking about we need benchmarks and we need to tie Ukraine funding to actually securing the border, bringing down the number of migrants on a monthly basis, giving them $5 billion a month as long as they keep reducing the number of migrants, actually securing the border. I've been told that McConnell told our negotiator that's off the table. So we'll be bringing that up in conference today. I'm giving you a lot of inside knowledge here in terms of what we're dealing with here in the Senate. And I'm obviously pushing back pretty hard against the Wall Street Journal op-ed that's, blaming us, preemptively blaming Republicans if we don't agree to something that will not secure the border under Biden. Be helpful for a Republican president, but in this case is not going to get the job done. And what are the political consequences of that going to be? So we're going to be the Charlie Brown to the Democrats' Lucy one more time. So again, we're right now in an awful position with this, and all I can do is go public with my concerns, what's happening behind the scenes, how we've been led down this primrose path by McConnell's awful leadership on this particular issue, and I don't see us getting a bill that's actually going to secure the border with this president in office.
One critique I have heard is that all Republicans would do with any sort of border funding bill would be to give President Biden more money to shuttle immigrants, to process them, and to get them into the interior of the United States, because he has absolutely no intention of any border security whatsoever. Do you buy that line of thinking that even if you did, let's say miraculously you got some compromise that leadership signed off on, that the Biden administration would just turn around and use this money to process even more illegals?
Well, that's what he originally questioned, was just more money. And of course, all the president of Mexico, he's blackmailing this administration, will give us more money. The big city mayors, the Democrat mayors, are saying we need more money. Even in Whitewater, again, I'm totally sympathetic with the chief of police. We need more money. That's not the solution. That's going to, if we give these big city mayors more money to take care of the migrants, it's just going to incentivize more. We need to seal the border. Part of the negotiations apparently is putting in language like notwithstanding other laws, to override other laws that might be contrary. Well, notwithstanding language doesn't apply to court decisions. What is the Biden administration, kind of the sue and settle type of process? You enter this agreement, then you get some friendly radical judge to put down a court decision that will tie the administration's hands not being able to secure the border. So again, there are so many landmines in this. There's so many loopholes that could be part of this legislation. I have to say, James Lankford is doing as good a job as he can do, given his constraints. He is working with Kyrsten Sinema, who, by the way, when I was chairman of Homeland Security, I did a proposal with Kyrsten Sinema. It was called Operation Safe Return. That was taken by DHS. We worked with DHS. That was taken by DHS and morphed into the Migrant Protection Program, which was Return to Mexico. That worked. So again, I also, Kyrsten Sinema seems to be the one person on that side that is trying to try and secure the border as well. But again, she's representing a caucus that wants an open border. And I don't know how you fix that flaw in this negotiation. You're dealing with people who probably want to see the negotiation fail themselves. They just want to be able to blame somebody. And so, you got the Wall Street Journal setting Republicans up to be blamed if we don't agree to a piece of legislation that won't secure the border. Sounds good. It'd be great in the hands of a serious president, but won't secure the border under this president. That's what I have to overcome.
He is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, joining us live here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sir, thank you so much for standing up for us and for appearing here on the program today. Do appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too, sir. It is conservative thought, not just talk. It's the Dan O'Donnell Show, and we are coming back with more of it in just a second. Stay tuned.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
At Kessler's Diamonds, we know you're too busy to go shopping from store to store, too busy to listen to a bunch of sales pitches, too busy to negotiate. This is Monica Kessler. I'm going to tell you another reason why I like working at Kessler's. Are you ready? At Kessler's, we don't negotiate. We think it's unfriendly and dishonest, so we've never done it. Would you ask your friend to pay a higher price than what you were truly willing to accept? Kessler's is a 100% employee-owned company, and the owners insist that everyone gets the lowest price. Don't believe me? Put it to the test. Go to any of our Kessler's locations and ask to buy something for $1 less than the price on the tag. One of our owners is going to offer to find you something else at that $1 lower price, but the item you want costs $1 more, period. Kessler's is the face of friendship and fairness and integrity. You never have to negotiate at Kessler's, and that's comforting, especially when you're in a hurry.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Hey, DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, just dropped a brand new way to play fantasy football with Pick 6. New customers can make their first NFL picks and get $100 back in Pick 6 credits if they don't win. Track your lineup, compete against others for a shot at big cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code GREATESTPICK. New customers can get up to $50 back in Pick 6 credit if your first pick set loses. Only on DraftKings Pick 6 with code GREATESTPICK. The crown is yours. One offer per first-time DraftKings product customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $50 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits valid for Pick 6 use only, expire after 1 year. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus. Valid only where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com.
Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer makes selling your home as easy as 1, 2, 3. Get a no-obligation cash offer in 24 hours. Make sure it works for you. Then pick your closing date. We will handle literally everything else at no expense. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Jay Weber here. In today's fast-paced world, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough, especially when it involves your physical health. There's no time for pain or weakness. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care, all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
There are many reasons to choose document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Chris McLean, co-owner of DBAT Brookfield, the baseball and softball training facility, had his reasons.
I think the biggest thing, the important things for me are effective communication and timely response.
James Imaging Systems, Kyocera copiers, Kyocera network printers, Kyocera color systems, and the James team that works with you to provide the business technology to help you thrive.
Honestly, Candy had a lot to do with it.
Candy, your James Imaging Systems sales representative.
Candy built great rapport with our general manager right out of the gate. It helps that they're a local business. We're a local business as well.
James Imaging Systems, effective communication and local responsiveness.
They're a partner. James Imaging is a partner, not a vendor.
Kyocera from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
I'm Mike. Reality Construction Scheduling System makes sure every contractor knows when to be on the job.
I'm Gina. Mike manages every remodeling project so every project is on time and on budget.
Gina walks you through every option and choice before we start so there are never surprises or disappointments.
Unlike any other remodeling company, you will be dealing with the owners of Reality every step of the way. We look forward to being bottom line accountable to every home remodel client.
Reality Construction, realityconstructionllc.com. realityconstructionllc.com.
For NARI, award-winning home remodeling.
Thanks again to Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson for joining me on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Because we went a little long with Senator Johnson, we are going to be closing up shop a little bit early. We're going to have to play. We still have a commercial break to go. And frankly, I need that extra 5 minutes to take a nap before I start my second show of the day. We go. President Trump is talking right now. Let's dip in a little bit. President Trump following a hearing to determine whether or not he has full immunity as a president for all actions conducted during the presidency. President Trump live on Fox News right now.
Entitled as a president to immunity. If you didn't have immunity, as an example, Joe Biden with the prosecutor, we're not going to give you $1 billion unless you get rid of the prosecutor that's after the company or his son or whoever it is they're after. But he wanted that prosecutor gone, and he's on tape saying it. Or you could say the horrible job he's done at the border where our country is being destroyed, or the horrible situation that took place. The lowest moment, I think, in the history of our country was Afghanistan, the way we withdrew. Not that we withdrew, but the way we withdrew. With shame, we surrendered. People killed, 13 great soldiers killed, many unbelievably, horrifically hurt, wounded, hurt. And hundreds of people died on both sides. Hundreds of people died. He could be prosecuted for that. So you can't have a president without immunity. You have to have, as a president, you have to be able to do your job. But if this didn't work out, if I wasn't given immunity, then other presidents, when we talked about today, President Obama with the drone strikes, which were very bad. They were mistakes, terrible mistakes. You can't put you really can't put a president in that position. So I think most people understand it, and we feel very confident that eventually, hopefully at this level, but eventually we win. A president has to have immunity. And the other thing is, I did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. The investigation of the election, which was a rigged election, everybody knows it. And just if you just look at, they didn't use state legislatures, and they didn't. They went to the FBI, and you look at FBI and Twitter, the Twitter files with the FBI, all of the horrible things, FISA, the FISA court, the signed documents, the lying to Congress, and the stuffing of the ballot boxes, all on tape. Stuffing of ballot boxes, all on tape. Government tape. And most of the information, as you know, we'll give you some of the findings that just came out, but all of that information, as you know, was gotten from mostly government sources, government tapes, government files, and government stats. So it's very sad when something like that happens. You know, you wouldn't have inflation, but much more importantly, you wouldn't have had the Ukraine situation with Russia. You wouldn't have had the attack on Israel. You'd have a much different economy right now. You'd have a great economy, and we would be respected all over the world the way we were just 3 years ago. So I want to thank everybody very much, and we think we had a very good day today. The concession of these two major points was pretty amazing, and honestly, I'm very glad they did it. I think they did the right thing. Thank you very much.
That is former President Donald Trump speaking after a hearing in the case involving, this is the Judge Tanya Chutkan case. This is one of Jack Smith's two prosecutions. What President Trump is arguing here before an appeals court is that he has blanket immunity as a former president. And of course, because the president has never, ever been criminally charged, charged. This is a constitutional precept that has never actually been litigated. We will discuss this and much more coming up at 3 o'clock. I'll be filling in for Mark Belling